In one corner of the world, there is a place where a woman marries multiple husbands simultaneously, all of whom are brothers. This is not an unusual occurrence, but simply an economic solution to maintain family boundaries. In higher regions, there are villages completely isolated by winter snow for months at a time, cut off from the outside world, where survival is the sole purpose of each individual. Surrounding them are 8 of the 14 highest mountains on the planet, the true roof of the world. Remarkably, this kingdom has a strange blank space on its calendar. They have no Independence Day, because no empire has ever been able to subdue them. The only lifeline connecting these mountaintop homes to the rest of humanity is flights through the world's most dangerous airport. All these extraordinary things are contained within one nation. That's real life in Nepal. The roof of the world. Start where most Nepalis start their day, in the Kathmandu Valley, a bowl of green hills about 4,600 feet above the sea. But the ground here keeps a secret older than any temple. This whole basin was once an enormous lake. Geologists found it in the valley's clay, silt, and water creature fossils. Around 30,000 years ago, the water drained out through the Chobhar Gorge, leaving soil so rich it became the cradle of Nepali civilization. The old Buddhist story tells it differently, that a bodhisattva named Manjushri cut the hills open with a sword of wisdom to drain it. Geology and legend disagree on how. They agree on the result. People could finally live here. And live here they did, in a country with one of the strangest gaps in any history book. Nepal is among the oldest nations in Asia, and it has no Independence Day. There was never an occupation to end. While empire swallowed almost all of South Asia, the wall of the Himalayas kept this kingdom its own. Temples 1,000 years old lean against coffee shops and phone repair stalls. Motorbikes thread through alleys barely wide enough for a cow. Around 1.5 million people live here, many still sharing one roof across 3 generations. There is a phrase you hear again and again, Atiti Devo Bhava, the guest is God. Show up unannounced and you will still be fed first. Before we climb any higher, I'm curious where in the world you're watching this from. Drop your city or country in the comments. It's always strange and wonderful to see how far these mountain stories travel. But daily life here runs on belief, and nothing tests an outsider's idea of normal faster than a city that worships a small girl as a living goddess. In the heart of old Kathmandu lives a goddess who is also a child. She is the Kumari, a young girl chosen from the Newar community, the valley's original people, and worshipped as the living form of the goddess Teleju. What makes her remarkable in a land this divided by faith is who kneels to her, Hindus and Buddhists alike, at the same window. Becoming the Kumari is not simple. Priests look for a girl in near-perfect health who carries the 32 Bhatis Lakshana, 32 signs of physical perfection, and has never lost blood or a tooth. Once chosen, she leaves her family for the Kumari Gar, a temple house in the old royal square, and is carried through the city on a chariot during the great festivals, her feet never touching ordinary ground. Why would a culture do this? Because here a child's untouched innocence is seen as the purest vessel a goddess could borrow, divinity made small enough to look you in the eye. In September of 2025, Nepal named its newest Kumari. She does not stay a goddess forever. When she reaches puberty, the goddess is believed to leave her, and she returns to ordinary life. Respected, given a stipend, free to marry, another girl takes her place. There are real debates about her schooling and childhood, and those questions deserve honesty. A child crowned as a goddess is only the gentlest of Nepal's extremes. Because high in the mountains, where survival itself is a daily fight, there is a marriage custom that stops outsiders cold. Objective, empathetic, carefully explaining a complex survival strategy without judgment. High on the Tibetan border highlands, above about nearly 10,000 feet, some communities have practiced something most of the world cannot picture. It is called fraternal polyandry. 2 or more brothers, sometimes as many as 5, share a single wife. Not the whole country. This belongs to specific high Himalaya peoples. The Nyenba of Humla, the Loba of Upper Mustang, the Bote of Dolpo, and almost nowhere else. To outsiders it sounds like scandal. Up here, it was never romance. It was arithmetic. The reason is written into the land itself. Farmable soil on these slopes is brutally scarce. If 3 brothers each married and split the family plot, every son would inherit a patch too small to feed anyone. Marry 1 wife between them, and the land stays whole, passed down undivided through the generations. The brothers pool their labor. One farms, one herds, one trades across the passes, and the household survives in a place that gives almost nothing. And 1 wife means fewer mouths than several would, on land that could never feed more. And there is a human mercy buried inside the math. In a family like this, a wife is rarely left a widow, and a child is rarely left without a father. If one husband dies on a mountain trail or is gone for months trading, another is still home. That is not the part outsiders expect, but it is the part the people themselves point to first. It is also vanishing. Surveys in Humla found polyandry in roughly half the households they sampled, some with 5 brothers to 1 wife. But roads, schools, and city work have all but ended it since the early 2000s. The young don't choose it anymore. Within a generation or 2, it may live only in memory. Strange to outsiders, maybe, but it was never about desire. It was the mountain doing the math, and a family agreeing to live inside the answer. Thought-provoking, directly challenging the viewer to reflect. So here's a real question, and an honest one. Is this survival, or is it sacrifice? 1 wife, several brothers. Would you call it wrong, or just a different way to stay alive? Tell us below. Nepal bends the rules of marriage to survive. It bends plenty of others just to be itself. We just 4. The quirks that bend your brain. Look at the flag. Every other national flag on Earth is a rectangle. Nepal's is not. It is 2 stacked triangles, a shape called a double pennon, and it is the only national flag taller than it is wide. The red stands for the rhododendron, the national flower, and for bravery. The blue border stands for peace. Now check the time. While most of the world sets its clocks to neat full hours, Nepal runs 45 minutes off in its own time zone, Greenwich Mean Time plus 5:45. The calendar is stranger still. The official Bikram Sambat calendar runs about 57 years ahead of the one you use. As you watch this, Nepal is living in the year 2083. Then there is the food that holds the whole country together. Dal bhat, lentils and rice with vegetables, eaten twice a day, every day. Trekkers learn the local saying fast, Dal bhat power, 24-hour. And the steamed dumplings called momo are quietly addictive, from the lowlands to the highest tea houses. Even the mountain you think you know has another name here. Everest is the British one. To Nepalis, it is Sagarmatha, the forehead of the sky. A flag with no straight edges, a clock out of step with the planet. Nepal loves its own rules. But its deepest difference isn't on a clock, it's inside its temple. And later, reaching its highest homes will mean surviving the most dangerous airport on Earth. Remember that goddess two faiths bow to together? She is not the exception here, she is the rule. About 81% of Nepalis are Hindu, and around 9% are Buddhist. But the most Nepali thing is how rarely those lines stay drawn. The same shrine, the same festival, sometimes the very same deity, belongs to both. Centuries of dynasties, the Lichavi, then the Malla kings, wove the two traditions so tightly together that for most people here, asking where one ends and the other begins is the wrong question. There is also a quieter third layer, Kirat, the indigenous faith of the East, with its own scripture, the Mundhum, alive alongside the rest. And in the flat Terai plains of the south sits a place the whole world has argued over. Lumbini is where Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, was born, around 623 BC. This is not folklore. A stone pillar raised by the Emperor Ashoka in 249 BC still stands there. Its inscription naming the spot as the Buddha's birthplace, and UNESCO recognized it in 1997. People still argue about it online. The pillar has been answering for over 2,000 years. Back in the Kathmandu Valley, 7 UNESCO World Heritage Sites sit within about 15 kilometers of each other. The Hindu temple of Pashupatinath on the holy Bagmati River, the Buddhist stupas of Buddhanath and Swayambhunath, and 3 ancient royal squares. Few places on Earth pack so much sacred ground into so little space. This blend of belief doesn't just fill the temples, it fills the calendar with festivals unlike anywhere else on Earth. If you want to feel Nepal rather than just learn it, come during a festival. The one outsiders fall in love with is Kukur Tihar, the day dogs are worshipped. During the Tihar festival, dogs of every kind, family pets and street strays alike, are draped in marigold garlands and marked on the forehead with a red tika, honored as messengers of Yama, the god of death. For one day, the most overlooked animal in many cities is treated as sacred. People who see it once never forget it. The biggest celebration is Dashain, 15 days long, when the country nearly empties as people travel home to family to mark the triumph of good over evil. In Kathmandu, the 8-day Indra Jatra fills the old royal square with masked dances of the gods, and the Kumari Jatra, where the living goddess herself is pulled through the streets on her chariot. And in spring, Holi turns whole towns into clouds of colored powder and water. Not every ritual is gentle, and honesty matters here. Every 5 years, at the Gadimai Temple in Bariarpur, a festival took place that was once the largest animal sacrifice on Earth. But even this is changing fast, from hundreds of thousands of animals in 2009 to a few thousand buffalo by 2024, after Nepal's Supreme Court moved against it in 2019. The country is arguing with its own past and slowly winning. If you've watched this far, it means you're genuinely curious. Don't just like the video, tap hype. It takes only a few seconds and it helps these stories reach far more people. A nation that crowns its dogs with marigolds clearly reveres life in every form. And the wildlife it protects is nothing like the frozen, snow-capped cliché you're picturing. Picture Nepal and you picture snow. But drop to the southern lowlands and you find steaming jungle, green, humid, and so alive that people call it the Amazon of Asia. This is Chitwan National Park, a UNESCO site home to Bengal tigers, the rare one-horned rhinoceros, gharial crocodiles, and wild elephants. In one small country, you can stand among tropical tigers and, weeks of walking away, among snow leopards. Nepal's land drops to barely 60 meters above the sea in the Terai and climbs to 8,849 meters at the summit of Everest. Chitwan alone spans elevations from 100 to 800 meters. Here is the part that should change how you see Nepal. It is one of the very few countries on Earth that has reversed the extinction of its tigers. Wild tiger numbers nearly doubled from around 121 in 2009 to roughly 355 by 2022, hitting an international pledge to double the population ahead of schedule. Chitwan went from 93 tigers to 128 and now shelters 694 one-horned rhinos. The reason is unglamorous and relentless. Hard anti-poaching patrols and several years with zero poaching at all. A country this short on money chose to stay rich in living things. That choice took guts. Nepal guards its tigers and rhinos fiercely, but some of its oldest customs have been far harder on its own people, especially its women. In parts of the far western region, Sudur Pashim, there is a practice called chaupati. When a woman has her period, she is sent to sleep apart, in a shed or a hut, because tradition once held her to be impure. It comes from a very old idea, and it is dangerous. Women have died in those huts from smoke, from cold, from snakebite. Nepal does not defend it. The Supreme Court ruled it illegal in 2005, and a 2017 criminal law made forcing it on a woman a crime punishable by jail. Yet in the most remote West, it quietly persists. It helps to remember this isn't uniquely Nepali. Ideas about ritual impurity during menstruation appear across many cultures and faiths through history. Naming that isn't excusing the harm. It's refusing the lazy story that one country is backward. There is a gentler custom in the same family of beliefs. Among the Newar, young girls take part in Ihi, sometimes called Bel Bibaha, a ceremony where a girl is married to a bale fruit and to the golden image of the god Vishnu before she reaches puberty. Because the god is immortal, she is believed never to become a widow, even if a human husband later dies. Long ago, it also shielded women from sati, where a widow was burned on her husband's pyre. The bale fruit, which does not rot, stands for a marriage that cannot die. This ritual is not forced child marriage, and the difference matters. So let's switch gears to the things almost nobody knows about Nepal at all. Start with a correction. People call Nepal tiny. It isn't. At over 147,000 square kilometers, it is larger than Greece, and it sits between the two most populous nations on Earth, India to the south and China, including the Tibet Autonomous Region, to the north. It survived by leaning on two walls, the Himalayas and a long habit of refusing to take sides. Then there is the creature nobody can prove. The Yeti, the snowman of the high passes, has sent expeditions chasing footprints across Nepali snow for a century. No one has ever produced solid evidence. It remains, for now, the mountain's most famous rumor. Here is one even fans of Nepal miss. Until 1973, hashish and cannabis were sold legally from licensed shops on a Kathmandu lane nicknamed Freak Street, a legendary stop on the hippie trail of the 1960s and 70s. Nepal pulled the licenses in 1973 under outside pressure and banned the trade outright by 1976. A couple of smaller things, useful if you visit. Patting someone on the head is disrespectful. The head is the body's most sacred part. Pointing your feet at a person or a shrine is rude too. And one number worth holding onto because it cuts against the gloom. Child marriage in Nepal is falling, from over half of girls married before 18 in the late 90s to around a third today. Still too high, but moving the right way. A kingdom that outwitted two empires didn't do it by luck. It did it with the most feared soldiers on earth. The modern kingdom was born in 1768, when Prithvi Narayan Shah, ruler of a small hill state called Gurkha, welded some 54 little kingdoms into one nation perched on the high ground. Geography did the rest. An army that wants to conquer Nepal has to climb to do it, and the mountains have never made that easy. Britain tried. The Anglo-Nepalese War of 1814 to 1816 set the expanding British Empire against these hill fighters, and it was no walkover. Nepal lost about a third of its territory in the Treaty of Sugauli, lands that became Sikkim, Darjeeling, and parts of the Western Plains. But it kept the one thing that mattered. It was never colonized. That is why, to this day, Nepal has no Independence Day. You cannot win back a freedom you never lost. The soldiers who earned that reputation are the Gurkhas, though Nepalis will gently correct you because the word is Gurkha. Famous for their courage and the curved kukri knife, they charge into battle with the cry, "Ayo Gurkhali," the Gurkhas are coming. More than 2 centuries on, Gurkha soldiers still serve in both the British and Indian armies, recruited from these same hills. And when the Cold War split the world in two, Nepal did what it always had, refusing to belong to either side, taking trade and culture from India, roads and investment from China, and bowing to neither. If the Gurkhas are Nepal's pride on the battlefield, there is another people whose courage made the highest mountains on earth climbable at all. The Gurkhas, the Sherpa, who make Everest possible. Every photograph of a triumphant climber on Everest hides the people who made that photo possible. They are the Sherpa, a Himalayan community from the Khumbu region, and they are the backbone of every expedition on the mountain. They fix the ropes, lay the ladders across the crevasses, and haul the loads through the Khumbu icefall, a shifting maze of ice that is the most lethal stretch of the whole climb. They can do it because evolution rebuilt them for it. Sherpa carry a version of a gene called EPA-S1, and it lets their bodies thrive on thin air that leaves the rest of us gasping. At 3,440 meters, a Sherpa's blood chemistry can look like a lowlander's down at 1,300. It is a survival superpower written into their DNA. The mountains they serve are the reason the whole country is called the roof of the world. 8 of the 14 highest peaks on Earth, every summit above 8,000 meters, stand in Nepal, crowned by Everest at 8,848.86 meters, or 29,032 feet. And that beauty keeps a brutal ledger. On the 18th of April, 2014, an avalanche tore through the Khumbu icefall and killed 16 Sherpa as they carried gear for foreign climbers. At the time, the deadliest day in Everest's history. 16 men who could breathe where others faint, buried by the very mountain that fed their families. Some peaks are deadlier still. Annapurna, the first 8,000er ever climbed, kills at many times the rate of Everest. But before a Sherpa ever sets foot on Everest, almost every climber has to survive one journey first, landing at the most dangerous airport in the world. To reach the high Khumbu, you fly into a place that has been called the most dangerous airport on Earth for more than 20 years. Its name is the Tenzing Hillary Airport at Lukla,
perched at 2,845 meters in the mountains. The numbers tell the story. The runway is just 527 meters long, and it tilts at an 11.7% slope. One end stops at a solid rock wall. The other end falls away into a valley hundreds of meters deep. There is no second attempt. A pilot who comes in wrong cannot circle and try again because there is nowhere to go. So why would anyone build there or fly there? Because there is no road. None. Nearly every person, every sack of rice, every sheet of roofing metal bound for these high villages comes in through Lukla, or comes in on someone's back. That tiny, sloping strip of tarmac is a lifeline, and that is exactly why people risk their lives on it. Travelers describe pilots reading gaps in the cloud by eye, a cabin so small you can almost talk to the cockpit, and the strange fact that nearly every seat is a window seat. For tourists, it's a bucket list thrill. For the people who live up here, it's just the way home. That runway is where the easy part ends, because beyond Lukla lie the villages where survival isn't a thrill, it's every single day.
In Dolpo and Upper Mustang, in Humla, winter does something hard to imagine from a warm room. Snow buries the passes in places as deep as your waist and seals entire villages off from the rest of Nepal for months at a time. Some settlements all but empty out, their people walking down to lower, warmer ground until spring, because to stay would mean to starve. Life here moves with the seasons, or it doesn't move at all. In Dolpo, families live half nomadic, following a rhythm they call samadrak, shifting between low villages and high pastures at 4,000 to 5,000 meters, where they keep yaks and grow barley and potatoes in thin soil. Fuel, water, and warmth are all things you work for every day with your hands. And then there is the cost almost no postcard shows you. Up here, a school can be a mountain away. Children cross ridges and ford cold rivers just to reach a classroom. When someone falls seriously ill, the nearest clinic can be hours off, sometimes days. And in the high country, the distance between a village and a doctor can be the distance between living and dying. No road, no clinic for days. Just snow, a handful of stone houses, and the long arithmetic of staying alive. It is not all hardship. These same valleys hold fortress-like homes called zong, turquoise lakes, and monasteries clinging to the cliffs, where snow leopards still move through the loneliest folds of the country. On the coolest ground in Nepal, people have kept their festivals, their faith, and their pride. This is the price of life on the roof of the world. So let me ask you honestly, could you live a life where winter seals you in for months? What does that teach the rest of us about how much we actually need? Drop your honest answer below. But Nepal's story doesn't end in the cold. It ends in something far more stubborn: hope. There is a quieter cost to all of this, and it is emptying the highlands. Millions of young Nepalis leave to work abroad, in the Gulf, in Malaysia, in South Korea, sending money home to families they barely see. In many mountain villages, the young are gone, and the old remain. The money they send back makes up somewhere around 26 to 29% of the whole national economy. Put plainly, Nepalis working overseas are breathing for the country they had to leave. The land itself has taken its blows too. On the 25th of April, 2015, a magnitude 7.8 earthquake struck near Gurkha. It killed close to 9,000 people, destroyed more than 500,000 homes, and toppled the historic Dharahara Tower in Kathmandu. And then Nepal did what Nepal does. It rebuilt. this time in earthquake-resistant concrete. Then came 2025. On the 4th of September, the government blocked dozens of social media platforms, and a generation that had had enough poured into the streets against corruption. The crackdown on the 8th was bloody. Around 72 people died. The Prime Minister resigned the next day, and on the 12th, in a vote partly organized over the chat app Discord, the country chose Sushila Karki as its interim leader, the first woman ever to head a government in Nepal's history. Fresh elections were set for March of 2026. The kingdom no empire could conquer just proved something about itself again. This time, the unconquered ones were its own children, and nature may have handed them exactly what they need to finally leave poverty behind. Here is the turn that makes the whole story rhyme. The same steep rivers that crashed down from those killer heights, the very water that sealed the high villages in and swept lives away, are now the country's greatest asset. Nepalese call it white gold. A nation that not long ago couldn't keep its own lights on, now sells electricity to its neighbors. In the 2024 to 2025 financial year, Nepal exported around 2.35 billion units of hydropower, worth roughly 17.5 billion rupees, to India and Bangladesh. In June of 2025, it began sending power all the way to Bangladesh, across the Indian grid for the first time. The mountains that took so much are starting, at last, to give something back. It's the perfect full circle. The brutal altitude that isolates the highest homes is the same altitude that makes the water fall fast and hard. And that falling water could be the force that finally pulls Nepal out of poverty. A kingdom no army ever conquered. A people who outlasted the earthquake, the isolation, and their own corrupt rulers. Still standing on the roof of the world. Nepal spent centuries refusing to be conquered, and it is rewriting its future right now. If this story changed the way you see this small kingdom in the clouds, hit like and subscribe. There's a whole world of places like this one we're just getting to.